Hey guys, welcome to Load the Boat with Zach. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I'm looking for in this late fall, early winter time period when it comes to bass. I'm going to show you some map examples of the kinds of areas that I target, and I'm going to show you some examples of what I'm looking for on my graph as I am graphing around. If you like this kind of video, let me know down below. If you do anything different this time of the year, I'd love to hear from you as well. Come along with me. This is going to be a good one. All right, I'm going to do some map study here. If you want to follow me on Navionics, we are on Nickajack Lake for this map study. I'm going to show you what I like to fish when we're talking late fall. You know, early, mid-fall, you know, everyone knows they're pushing bait in the back of the pockets. Now, there's fish other places too, but it's pretty common, easy to just go to the back of these pockets, back of these creeks, and find some fish. But as the water level starts dropping, it starts cooling off. A lot of these shallows are going to be vacated. You can still catch some fish doing it. You know, all times of the year you can catch fish shallow, you can catch fish deep. But these, if you want to play the odds, you know, these areas are going to have less fish. So when the water starts dropping, the bait fish is, you know, what's so key in the fall, they're gonna be moving out. So the next place that I would want to check, if we had found them in this pocket here, if I was gonna try to follow the fish out, riprap. Riprap is a great place to hold fish in bridges. You know, really through the winter time, you know, you can definitely catch some fish, riprap and bridges. That rock is going to hold heat, and rock hard bottom is good to find this time of the year. So that's would be a key place to check out. You also want to check out points. Points are good year round, but in the fall, what you're going to want to look for is more of a flatter point. You don't want something super steep. The flatter points are going to hold. They're going to have more surface area, so they're going to go get more heat. So check out some flatter points if they're around. Also, creek channel bends. This is creating kind of a deeper pocket here. It's creating a steep wall where they can trap bait up against. If they want to move up onto this flat, they have easy access to go and move up and back down if they need to. But a nice creek channel swing can definitely concentrate some fish. And this little area is very interesting as well because we have this kind of a rounded point, a flat. You know, it's got a lot of the combination of the stuff that we're looking for. And we have a transition area here. Transition areas are very good to hit in the late fall because they can kind of be doing a number of different things. So having an area where you can fish this steeper, deeper stuff and then go on to this flatter, shallower area. You know, if you just fish this little section right here, you can get a better understanding of what the fish are doing. Another thing that you can do is check out some of these ditches. You know, we have this old creek channel here. You know, idling these creek channels, these little ditches that come in, can be a great way to find some bait. And bait is key. Figuring out if they're near the mouth or if they're, you know, near the back. Finding out where they are in the creeks is important. You know, this isn't a creek here, but a lot of these creeks have a little creek channel coming in. So idling some creek channels, seeing how far back they are. If you're not seeing them in the very back of a creek, checking them out, checking the mid, checking the mouth. You know, you don't have to necessarily idle, you know, the whole way of the creek, but skipping around until you find where the life is a great way to get on some fish faster. And also, as we get into later fall, you know, since rock is key, bluff walls are not as common on Guntersville, but if you find some bluff walls, those can be key to holding some fish, holding some bait. And one thing that you may not consider is grass lines can be very similar to these bluff walls, since we don't have as much of the rock on Gunnersville. Going and finding out what depth the grass is and fishing the grass lines is a great way to catch fish, because the water drops, it cools, the fish will pull out to the edges of the grass more. And also checking out some road beds. Road beds are great in this time of the year. They'll hold heat. They're a stopping point as they move out of these creeks. All right, as we leave this road bed here, another place to check out in the fall is going to be pinch points. A lot of pinch points have bridges going across them, so you're going to have a concentration of anglers as well as fish in the area. But if you can find a pinch point like this that doesn't have a bridge, you can find some fish that other people aren't messing with quite as much. And these pinch points are good any time of the year that the fish are doing a bit of a migration, because all these fish that were back here in the shallows and want to make it out to closer to the main river as the water is cooling and the water level is falling, they're gonna have to go through right here. So pinch points are a great place to fish in the fall. But if you want to find the biggest numbers of fish, you're gonna have to put some time behind the graph, and you're gonna have to idle this stuff, go up and down and figure out where the bait is, because the biggest concentration of fish is going to be around the bigger concentrations of bait. Now you can catch fish just fishing, but if you put a little bit of time behind the graph, you're gonna have a more successful day. Swing back in here. See, we got some fish there. We're just on a flat that's kind of close to a little bit deeper water, coming out of a pocket. Saw some gulls working, found some bait and some fish. Trying to get right over them for you, but I don't know if I'll be able to get you as good of a picture as I had initially that I did a little snapshot of. I had to go ahead and put down and start fishing because there's people in the area. Okay, getting over some bait. Okay, and you can see in this bait, we got some brighter marks underneath it. Those are some bass right there. This is what you want to look for. Oh yeah, you can see on side imaging too. You see the brighter dots in there mixed in with the bait. You can find bait everywhere in the fall, but that's what you're looking for right there, is the brighter dots mixed in with the bait, and that'll have you some fish. There's some bait flickering right here. Oh yeah, bait. This is what you want to look for. Look at all those shad right there. There's some probably bigger fish out there, some white bass.
Oh yeah.
Right off this point, we're gonna go and continue to graph around to this channel swing here. More bait. I think we are getting into the right zone here. We got a couple fish right there. Oh yeah, we're getting into some. Look at that. That means you don't have to be real good at graphing to be able to tell you got some bait and you got some fish right there. This is what we're looking for in the late fall, winter time here. You get around some channel swings, some points with some good hard flatter bottom, and you can find them loaded up like this. All right, after watching that, I hope you have a better understanding of where to look this time of the year, what you're looking for both on the map and on your fish finder. This time of the year, I spend a lot more time behind the console because there can be a lot of dead water. What I'm doing after I find fish or bait on the graph, that's going to help me figure out a general area of the lake to fish, even if I'm not necessarily fishing for bass on the bait balls themselves, or if I'm not necessarily seeing bass on the bait balls. I know what kind of depth to target, and I know what section of the creek to target. So whether you're targeting these roamers or you're targeting more resident fish, this can be helpful. There's going to be some fish that aren't going to go and waste time and energy following the bait. They're just going to go and sit on a stump on a point and wait for those bass to chase the bait over them. So this can be helpful to do. This graphing can be helpful no matter what your fishing style is. Figuring out a general area to fish is important this time of the year. There can be a lot of dead water, so getting behind your console and so you can figure out, if the fish are still in the backs or whether they have moved out closer to the main lake can really save you a lot of time. It can be a little bit boring staring at a screen as you're graphing around. We always want to pick up a rod in our hand, but spending an hour behind the console can save you half a day of fishing. The key thing to focus on this time of the year, if you're not going and fishing for the roamers on the bait, is focusing on hard targets, hard cover, whether that be stumps, laydowns, boat docks, rock, riprap, the last of the crisp green healthy grass. You typically want harder targets this time of the year. That's going to go and it's going to hold the heat better. It's gonna hold more fish, more bait. Another thing that'll save you time this time of the year, aside from doing some graphing, is keeping your eyes open for birds. It seems so simple, so basic. People tend to think about it around the shad spawn, looking for the herons and stuff lining the bank. This is another time of the year that looking for birds can really save you a lot of time and give you a general location of where to look for fish. Now, if you see birds diving, you may not necessarily find your bass right there, but it can go and give you an area, a section of the lake more to focus on. It can at least give you a depth of what the bait are holding. Because it's important to know, because especially in Alabama, it might be 40 degrees one day, 70 degrees the next. So the bait can move up and down in the water column a lot. So figuring out where the major food source is going to be holding will give you a better idea of the depth to focus on and help you narrow down your lure selection as well. Another thing that'll save you time is after you go and you find the depth that the fish are holding, the depth that the bait is holding, is highlighting that depth on your graph. That saved me a lot of time when I was out fishing the other day. We found multiple good schools of good fish, and it was because when I went and I found the first group, I think you could tell on the graph they're in that 8 to 12 foot zone. So what I did is I highlighted that depth on my graph. I added a depth highlight feature. So if your graphing card allows you to do that, go in and after you find the fish, you find the bait, the depth that they're holding, highlighting that depth range, highlighting the depth range that the grass line ends. Doing those things can save you a lot of time and effort out there. And make it to where you're more efficient when you're behind the console as well as when you're up there on the deck casting. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you gain some confidence for your next trip. Fish these areas, graph for some bait, and you too can load the boat.